We're live. Okay, right on. Okay, I'm gonna get set up here so I can see your comments and who shows up. Hi, Gibson. Gibson's sitting in the window. Myrtle will probably join us too here in a minute. She's wandering. Okay. Where are we? All right, how's everybody doing? I just got off of going live on Instagram. So if you are coming from there, hello again. And if not, we're going to be talking about vulnerability today. Okay, come on, computer. I just want to make sure I can see who's on. There we go. I see numbers. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go. Okay, I can see it now. Good deal. Okay, so like I said, today we're going to be talking about, or discussing, I hope, the topic of vulnerability. And let's see, before I jump in there, I suppose we'll wait for a few more people to get on here. I just got back from a show, one of my favorite places to play in the area. It's in Olathe, which I told the other people on Instagram, fun fact, that's where I was born. So we have a connection. Just kidding. It's at Casey Wine Company. It's a really awesome place. Super fun vibe. They've got like yard games all the time. It's super fun. I keep telling myself I need to go there when I'm not singing so I can actually hang. But it's still really fun. And I got to see some Nebraska girls, so go Huskers! Anyways, there's the pig. Come here, girl. Come here. Last week, okay, so I've got a series of Facebook Lives and live broadcasting things set up, going over kind of the backstory of Vulnerably Vibrant, which is the new business ministry that we just launched here that I'm so excited about. Oh, who was it? I just got a thumb. Darn it. See, this is my phone and it's too tiny, and I've got my computer and now I missed it. So you can give another thumb so I know who you are, and I'll be paying attention. But anyways, I'm just giving a little bit of more information about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And, oh no, we got a grumbly pig here. Shh, I'm trying to be on TV right now. Okay, anyways, last week we talked about fear and how it can affect our lives. Specifically, I was sharing my story about how it was really contributing to my vocal cord injury, which I've been working on healing for a long time, but really getting into the nitty-gritty of it this year. I've been seeing a speech therapist and a vocal pedagogue, which is basically a voice, like a special voice teacher. They are so helpful and wonderful, but I realized that a lot of the fear and anxiety was what was contributing to it, because I was really clenching up and not speaking properly and singing efficiently, and so it was causing a lot of trouble. And I knew that no matter how much I tried to relearn how to speak and relearn how to sing, which I'm still doing, it wouldn't matter if I didn't really get to the root of it. What was contributing to it was the fear. And so that's what we talked about last week, and I asked you all to share what might be a thorn in your side. And I said mine was definitely vocal injury. But it's what allows me to not rely on myself, and that's so, well, it's empowering, but it's also really freeing and comforting too. So that's what we talked about last week. You can find that video just here on the page. I also posted it on YouTube, so if you're just searching, you can find that there too. But I'd like to go a little bit deeper and kind of explain a little bit about the name, Vulnerably Vibrant, and the vulnerability piece of that. And but before I do that, I'm going to sidebar off here and take a little bit of a turn. I'm really excited to share this because I just became an independent music promoter for a brand new company called Crowd Music. And so I'm going to share a little bit of music, of a song from an artist that I came across there. So when you sign up, you get, it's like Christmas, you get a little package of songs of different artists, and some of them are a little more well-known names and others are like hidden gems, and it's just really fun, especially being an artist, getting to go through these and share. But Crowd Music is a really I'm really excited about this company because it's a completely revolutionary way to do music, and you actually get paid to listen to music and share it and promote it, and the musicians are getting paid, and it's just a really cool thing. So if you're interested in more details about that, let me know. But we're going to play a little snippet of her song. Her name is A Rose. I think it's the coolest name, and she has a very unique, beautiful, sultry, soulful voice, and this is called I Dare You. It's just a little snippet, and I have the link that you can go to the crowd there, and that you'll be linked to my crowd so we can work together. If you follow that link, it's just crowdmusic/Alexa Chris. You can go and find A Rose on that site there as well. So here's a little snip of her music.
Tell me why I'm not divine. As the kind of woman who's loved at first sight. 'Cause you clearly see what this could be. You still let it all go, and so easily. Stand up and be a man.
Yes, that's I Dare You, A Rose. So go check that out. There we go. Perfect. Go check that out. It's Crowd Music/Alexa Chris. See, I told you Myrtle was going to join us. At least she's not barking. Okay. Alrighty, so let's just jump in here. I see 2 people on, so give a comment so I know who's here, and we're gonna just dive right in here. Okay, so like I said, I discovered that a lot of the fear was contributing to my vocal injury, and so I knew I needed to get to the root of that. And so to do that, I started digging. I was working on, I am still, but I was working on learning how to speak properly and sing more efficiently. But I was also really, and still am, was really digging to get to the bottom of what was causing all of this fear. Of course, a lot of different things were coming up and arising, and basically when I started looking at all of them, I realized that it all just kind of boiled down to this fear of being vulnerable. And I think, and it was kind of eye-opening because I didn't really think that that was like a thing, although it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to have a fear of being vulnerable, but I didn't think that I was struggling with that. So I started looking into it, and so I looked up the definition of vulnerability in the dictionary, of course, and what I found is it says the definition is, what it means is basically to be susceptible to physical or emotional harm. So yeah, of course, that doesn't sound good. The synonyms are like helpless and defenseless and powerless. So nothing positive about being vulnerable. So, but I was like, okay, how do you overcome that if it's like just super all negative? But that didn't feel right to me. So I kept looking and was researching, and I came across a researcher. I think she's a psychologist, but she did a lot of research on this exact topic of vulnerability. And what she found is that the exact vulnerability that allows somebody to be susceptible to this hurt or the harm, physically and emotionally, is the exact thing and the only way that people feel are able to experience true connection with other people, and peace, and freedom to like follow your dreams and, you know, overcome fear. So it's like this thing that was causing so much fear is exactly what it is that you can overcome it. And so that was really interesting to me, because when I learned that, I was like, wow, okay, so it's not something that is just, well, yeah, it's negative, like it says so in the dictionary. Like, no, there's a lot, I mean, so much that's tied to being vulnerable that's very positive and like necessary to a joyful and happy and fulfilling life. And so that was just very super eye-opening. And so I think a really fun thing, so when I started digging in, I thought that this would be, which of course is where Vulnerably Vibrant, the name, came from. And I thought that it made so much sense because, one, it was really personal to me, but I think it really relates to everyone. There's always something that makes us feel vulnerable, right? And so I looked up, let's see, I think it's a Washington Post article, but I looked up the top 10 fears of Americans. So I'm not going to share them with you yet. I think if you'll see, if you don't cheat and look it up, you'll see that they all kind of boil down to being vulnerable. And so I think it's super relatable to everyone, which is what I want Vulnerably Vibrant to be, and what the message to be is that we can all overcome these things that make us feel vulnerable. Which, last week I was saying, so this is another sidebar, last week I was saying that I wanted to try and schedule these Facebook Lives so we could start a discussion about the topic before, but I'm not like super tech savvy, and it took me forever to figure out that you actually have to have like a third party, or like I don't even know what the terminology is, but basically can't do it unless you're using another software to stream from, and which I am not prepared to do that yet. We'll get there. But for the time being, I have set up a recurring Facebook event where that's where I'll post the next week's discussion, because I'm going to try and do these weekly, if you guys are cool with it, of course. But I did post, I obviously wasn't able to give you guys a heads up that was coming, so I did post in there. The question was, what makes you feel vulnerable? And if you want to answer that now, that'd be great, because I think it's really like cool to, if you're comfortable, of course, share what makes you feel vulnerable, because I mean, a lot of times we have these things that do that, and it's the same as someone else, and we can just come alongside each other. And hi, Laura! Welcome to the live. It's Vulnerably Vibrant TV. If you guys have a better name for this, let me know. Okay, so where on earth were we? Okay, so I was talking about the top 10 fears for the Americans, I think. So if you can think of those fears, write those down, because I think we'll see that, thanks for the thumbs up, that it all boils down, or a lot of them boil down to this fear of being vulnerable, which is susceptible to physical or emotional harm. So, hearts to y'all. Okay, so when I was learning all about vulnerability and when I figured out that there were two sides to it, um, specifically from Brene Brown's research, that it was the exact same thing that made you feel vulnerable and hurt, and all of this was the only way to reach your dreams and feel free and true connection and all of that. Then I knew that there like had to be a way uh, to like overcome it, or to not be terrified of it, right? And so this is all a work in process, progress. It's in process. And so basically, so I learned that the only way to completely, that I was only, the only way I was going to be able to be completely vulnerable and be myself was if I wasn't the one, if I didn't have to rely on myself to control everything or protect myself. Because I mean, I'm a performer, have been, I sing and I love doing that, but there's obviously a huge difference between performing and loving that, and even, I mean, being authentic with that, but being free to be vulnerable with other people is just a completely different thing. And I could feel that, like I knew that was happening. And so I knew that, I mean, there had to be a way that I could still be vulnerable, and kind of tear down the walls of performance and perfection and controlling everything, because that's just who, I mean, that's kind of who I am. I'm super a researcher and a planner, and I don't like to take risks unless it's super calculated. So it's kind of just like who I've been, and so I knew that could be overcome. So when I was, one of the most encouraging things to me that I would like to share, and then I have a song for you that is crazy, because it was written way before this was all a thing, and it just applies perfectly. So I think that's so cool. But it's John, it's actually a verse in the Bible. It's John 10:3, and I think it's in the Voice translation. And Jesus says that, he says, I'm sending you out armed with vulnerability, like a lamb among wolves. And this stuck out to me for many reasons. One is because I had kind of already established that this was all going to have something to do with like being vulnerable. But he says armed with vulnerability, and I was like, what? That, how? And that goes back to what I was saying about, like, we are actually armed with it when we're protected by something, someone so much greater than myself and greater than the world. And it actually becomes like a weapon, because it's then kind of back to the thorn in your side. Then it's not like I can't do it by myself. Like no matter how hard I try, I'm not going to be able to do it. Like I just can't. I just can't do it by myself. And that was really freeing, because to be armed with my vulnerability meant that I was protected and I didn't have to do it. Like I didn't have to protect myself. And that's still hard sometimes, because that's how I've been for so long. It's kind of guarded, and like this is totally out of my comfort zone. I don't know if that's good to share or not, but it is. But I'm really passionate about this, and I'm gonna leave it at that for a second. We're gonna sing. We can talk a little bit about more. If you guys have comments, write those down, because I'd like to discuss this stuff with you guys. But this song, like I said, was written years before this whole Vulnerably Vibrant came about, and it actually applies so perfectly. It's this song means a lot to me. And hi Shayna, welcome back. The song means a lot to me, and I hope that it can mean something to you too. It's called Stranger. I think that when we're trying to protect ourselves and perform, that we can kind of become a stranger in our own home, is what it says. That's what the lyrics are. And I think that can mean a lot of things, so I'm going to leave it at that because I want this to mean something to you specifically. Well, I'm going to need a capo, so 1 second. Myrtle, are you in the guitar case? Okie dokie, okay. Okay, I am back. Myrtle was in the guitar case. She's guarding it for me. Okay, so this is Stranger. So if you want to put in the comments what stands out to you, if anything stands out to you, write that down. It's so cool to be able to share this stuff with you and hear what you think. So this is Stranger. Confused, beat down and misused, defeated. Footsteps my way, despite what they say I needed. But all the small things let me know I am no longer a stranger in this home. The clouds have lifted, the welcome sign is on. Your voice keeps calling, you'll never be alone. I am no longer a stranger. One time, 2 times, we laughed and you cried, we hurt you. We played with fire, got burned and wondered, where were you? But all the small things let me know I am no longer a stranger in this home. The clouds have lifted, the welcome sign is on. Your voice keeps calling, you'll never be alone. I am no longer a stranger. Thanks, Laura. It's definitely one of my favorites. Oh goodness. Well, I hope that you got something out of that and maybe learned something or re-inspired something about vulnerability, and that we can actually be armed with it. And that's what I want Vulnerably Vibrant to be, is a community of people who are armed with vulnerability and supporting each other and learning and growing together and singing and moving. And I just think that a lot of that's really powerful and really freeing to know that I don't have to be in control all the time, that I can actually be armed with my vulnerability and that I'm still protected. And so that is my message today. I know it took a long time to get there, but if you guys have anything else to share, definitely put that below. If you would like to, feel free to message me if you want to talk about something or just want to share a comment. I would so appreciate that. But definitely check out, if you guys are interested in the crowd music that I shared at the beginning, let me know, because that's so cool and super fun to discover all this music and promote it. And also make a little money doing it. That's pretty cool. But also, if you guys are excited about the Vulnerably Vibrant message and want to learn more about it, you can definitely shoot me a message. You can visit the link in the little status thing here. It's just alexachris.com/vulnerablyvibrant. You can support there. We're doing a fundraising right now to raise money for my Revelation Wellness certification, which is basically group exercise instruction and ministry leadership training as well. So you can learn all about that on that website, or just ask me. I'd love to talk about it because it's really exciting and I'm really passionate about all of this. So yeah, that's what I've got for you today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with someone that might need to hear this, because I think it's really powerful stuff. It's definitely changed my life, and I'm really excited to be sharing it with you. So that's all I've got. Definitely invite your friends over to Vulnerably Vibrant TV event. That's what it is right now. So go invite people over there, because we're going to talk all things about these little live events that we do here. So I will be posting updates there and on my page. I've got some awesome new blogs coming out for you guys, and we're going to stay in touch. We're going to talk about, next week we're talking about faith, which is a huge component to all of this as well. And so stay tuned for that. I am going to post another question or a little discussion starter in that events page. So hopefully we can have a little more communication during these live shows too. I think that would be really fun. Oh, also, here's a list of the fears. We're going to start from the bottom. There's 10. Ghosts. Clowns. Yes, that made the list. Darkness. Strangers. Flying. Claustrophobia. Blood and needles. Drowning. And then they lumped together bugs, snakes, spiders, and other animals. That was 3. Then we've got heights. And guess what? The number 1 fear for Americans in 2018, according to Washington Post, is public speaking. Which I think we all can understand that. But I think what's really cool, before I get off here, because I'm just kind of blabbing now. It was really not cool. Like, you don't want to be scared of that, obviously, but it's really interesting because I've learned so much about my voice and how everything affects it, like our emotions and all of that, and how much my fear was affecting my voice. I think it's crazy that, and it attests to this, that public speaking is the number 1 fear, because first of all, you're standing in front of people, which can be very scary, but also your voice is like the connection, your like physical voice is the connection to your, like who you are. Like when you're talking, it's like traced back to you. And I think that that's just scary. Like you're kind of like in the hands of whoever you're speaking to. That's what it feels like. That's like the definition of being vulnerable. So I think all of these you can see kind of boil down to the fear of vulnerability. Okay, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for supporting. Don't forget to check out the Vulnerably Vibrant landing page where you can support our cause if you feel inclined to do so. And be armed with vulnerability this week, you guys. Thanks so much. Love you.